All right, welcome to episode 272.
Fellow auto detailers, welcome
of the
to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers.
Frasco.
This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
He's with owns Pro and Local Detailing in Massachusetts, but not Boston, Massachusetts. He's more on the Connecticut side. Did I get that right, Paul?
Yeah, Western.
Cool. So tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about Pro and Local Detailing, how you got into detailing, and where you're at right now.
Okay, so I got into detailing. I just kind of fell into it. I've always cleaned my mom's car when I was a kid, but I had no idea what detailing was. But I've always liked clean cars. And then right out of high school, I got a job at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and I was there about 6 years. And my job there was to clean the rental cars. So it wasn't detailing; it was just express cleaning. 5 minutes, 10 minutes a car, and
Is
get
that
it ready.
when we met? Did we meet when you were still working at Enterprise or no?
I quit this past September. So
got it. Definitely then.
most likely, yeah. But yeah, I just kind of fell into it. I worked there for a couple of years, and then I started doing what I did there on the weekends to make extra money. Like I just went to Walmart, I bought some wax and some basic products, some tire shine, and I just kind of did what I did there. My first full detail took maybe 7 hours, and I charged $25. I was probably negative $5 an hour at the end of it.
How much did you charge?
$25 back in like 2009, 2010.
Wow.
But we did that for a few cars. It was people we knew, and we needed some cars to practice on.
Totally.
Those were our first couple details just to get the hang of it. And then we just kept going at it every single year. And then when I got introduced to the professional side of detailing, it's because of car products. I owe like a thank you to Andrew, Kate, and Eric, and Darren Kate. Those three guys, they really helped me and pointed me in the right direction to get started. I did a car products class and got IDA certified up in Boston at Unique Car Care.
Mm-hmm.
And then a year after that, I went to McGuire's and did the NXT training, and then I went to Rennie Doyle for a week and did his training. So over the last 2 years or so, 3 years, I got a lot of training and just kept doing research and kept learning on the job. And now I'm here. I got a shop and I also do mobile.
So you started as mobile only then?
Yeah.
While you were still working at...
Mm-hmm. I would do it in the driveway too. So some people would just drop off in the driveway, or I would do mobile.
Okay.
We kind of did both,
And you're talking like you have a partner or something. Do you have a partner in this?
Yeah, I started it with my friend Chris Vella. Me and him went to school together. I've known him since about third grade, and he actually worked at Enterprise with me.
Oh, cool.
And,
okay.
Yeah, so we just kind of started it together, and yeah.
Nice. So, how long? You said you just quit Enterprise last September, so you're within 6 months of quitting that job, and you started mobile and already have a shop. So, obviously, you're dealing with weather where you're at in Massachusetts. So, maybe the shop was at a necessity, but kind of what was that? That seems like a pretty quick progression into the shop. So did you build up your mobile business pretty steady on the side, enough to replace the income? Was it helpful to have another, like a partner in it too? What was that kind of like?
My partner Chris really helped us kind of build up our clients. We did some of his family's cars, and they kind of gave us that first push of referrals, and it kind of built like a spider web out from that.
Okay.
And that's when it started to explode. And then I went to school. I was going to school at that time. I just graduated in May. So I was going to college for marketing, advertising, and graphic design. So I was, using that for the company too. I did all of our own graphic design. Then we went out and had a professional website, and we just kept advertising like nonstop, and it just kept building up. And the shop was very important. You can't really do mobile detailing around here this time of year. I know Vincent he did some where he would set up a tent and put a space heater. Yeah, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's crazy to do that. He's pretty dedicated, but if you don't have a shop, what are you supposed to do? But it's not my own shop. I partnered with my friend Nick, who does remote starters. He does audio installations and things like that. So we share the shop.
That's a brilliant idea.
That's how I got into the shop.
So how big is the shop total, and then what is kind of your square footage of that, and how does that partnership work out?
That's the only bad part. The shop's pretty small. I can fit one large vehicle inside, maybe two with the door open. And it's a decent shop on a very busy road. It was just redone on the inside. We have a waiting room. They redid the floors and the walls and everything, so it looks nice, but I just wish it was a little bigger. When I'm busy, I'll have one car in here that I'm working on, and then maybe three outside that we're just working on outside in the parking lot of the shop, which I don't care,
But not during winter.
No, not during winter. Winter, I do one at a time.
Got it. So I think that's a great way to really, because a lot of guys reach out to the show and they want to get a shop, but they're looking at taking on this ginormous overhead and this lease and all that. And I really think that what you've done is a good stepping stone into that. So how did you have that relationship with him before, or how did you kind of walk us through what that was like to kind of pitch him on the idea of you kind of almost moving in? Unless he wasn't able to afford the whole shop payment, then that would be an easy move. But it sounds like that wasn't the case.
I mean, realistically, the situation was a little different, but if I had to do it again, I would just approach people, look for those businesses, look online, see if anyone, has a paintless dent repair guy, someone that does tinting, and see if someone wants to partner. Obviously, make sure they're someone you can trust. So build a relationship first, and then go ahead and try to share a shop with them. But I knew him for a couple of years, and then he had a shop in Springfield, and he was sharing a space with a tint shop, and it didn't work out with them. So it was just perfect timing where he didn't have a shop, and he was doing his remote starter installations and audio on a mobile basis for a few months, which is kind of crazy because he had to bring a ton of tools with him. Then we just talked, and we were looking for a shop together, and it was just perfect timing that we just decided to split the rent. And
got it. So you guys actually moved into this shop together.
Yeah, at the same time.
Got it. Okay, cool.
Perfect timing where he needed a spot and I needed a spot, but I don't need a kid spot at the moment because I still do mobile.
Is mobile still like your main business, and then kind of during the winter months or the months that it's not ideal to be mobile, that's when you kind of move into the shop instead of like shutting down completely? Or how does that?
I try to get all my paint correction jobs over here because I set up some lighting that I can, on the walls and
sure.
And at a 45-degree angle. So I kind of try to get those jobs to drop off, but it's kind of 50-50. I'm going to look at it more and kind of track that and see what really is more the shop or the mobile. But right now it's hard to tell. I'd say it's 50.
Random question that I should have asked beforehand. Out of you've done a lot of training. Would you say the training was worth it?
Yeah, definitely.
I know that's totally random, and off topic from what we were talking about, but I meant to ask that earlier because a lot of guys also reach out asking me if they should go to training. So I just kind of want, since you've done, like you did the car training, I think you did NXT, right?
Yeah, I did car products, and they kind of paired up with the IDA, so it was kind of a double training. I did the NXT, I did Rennie Doyle's training, and I took my 2 workers to Detail King because it's kind of close to us.
Got it.
We actually drove down so that they could have a certificate. I don't want anyone working for me that's not certified in some way.
Okay.
Gave them, a good foundation and gave them motivation.
So you've done you've had kind of, the reason I asked is I feel like you've had a broad scope of different trainings kind of across the country essentially. And so if someone, because I don't really want to promote or bash anyone's training, really. That's not the purpose of this conversation. But if you could nail down like a couple things, and if you got to think about it, don't worry, because I didn't kind of warn you about this question at all. But for guys out there that are looking for training and looking into these different schools that you've talked about, what would be, since you've dealt with a lot of them, what should be like 3 or 4, or maybe it's just one thing that someone should really, really consider when looking at a training, or should be maybe a red flag that if they see this, the training may not be for them? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would say the biggest thing to look for is just what's included in the training, how much hands-on there is, and you really got to look at where you're at and what you think you need to improve on, because now, I'm still learning everything I can, and there's still some detailing knowledge I can gain, but now I'm looking more towards any kind of business knowledge I can get. So the detailing training at this point is getting kind of repetitive if I take another class.
Did any of those trainings offer business advice?
Yeah. I would say
I haven't done any of them, so I'm naive to it. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, I mean, and there's some out there. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I don't want to bash anyone. Totally. Yeah.
But you got to just be careful of the ones that are just trying to sell you a product. I'm sure you can kind of guess at what trainings those are, but I'm not going to say who it is. And just do your research on them. I would say Rennie Doyle's training was hands down the most valuable.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was it about his training that you liked the best?
We went at it really hard. We did 5 days. It was like 12 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah, we went from like 7 a.m. or 7:30 until 6 or 7 at night.
Wow.
And they were very thorough. They covered everything, and a lot of everything: interior, exterior, business, marketing. And the thing that's the best about that is you get something after the training. His continued support. He's got his own Detailers network that you can be a part of, and it's kind of like that Facebook forum where you can discuss different things, and if you have a problem on the job with a car you're working on, but it just weeds out the the things that we don't like about the Facebook forum, right. All the drama. There's none of that in his forum.
Awesome. So I've noticed, and you brought it to my attention as well, kind of steering away from the training now, back to kind of you and your business. And it's interesting you mentioned you're focused more now on the business side of things, which kind of interests me more. And I've noticed, and like I said, you brought up to my attention, you've started to implement, or maybe you've done it all along, but you've started to implement things that you leave behind after you detail the car. And one thing I would really love people to get away from this podcast, not only this episode specifically, but kind of my MO in general, is that it's so much more having a successful detailing operation is so much more than just detailing the car itself, which I think a lot of, speaking of trainings, can be a disservice of and just telling you how to detail the car when it's really so much more than that. So you've started to implement a lot of things that you leave behind, and by leave behind, I mean kind of promotional or marketing pieces, correct? So can you kind of talk about those, where you got the ideas for it and what you kind of leave behind?
I got the ideas just from actually from some of the business classes I took, and looking at seeing what some other guys are doing, stuff like that. So I obviously got some of the ideas from some of the other guys in the industry, but I looked at like why you need to do it and what I wasn't doing. I obviously can clean the car, but I was looking at ways to stick out from the competition, ways for the customer to remember us, because I have a lot of customers that will come to me one time and who knows if they'll come back. So I was trying to focus on customer retention for last year and obviously continued into this year and going forward. But I was thinking ways that I could offer more than just a clean car, but offer a professional service. So I got ideas. I leave behind like I got water bottles at Costco, and they sell like a case of 40 for, I don't know, $2.50 or something like that.
Right.
So it's like a few cents per water bottle. And I had stickers made that fit they're about the same size as the label that Costco put around. And I just slapped my logo on top of it. And I leave a cold water bottle in the cup holder before they go pick up the car. It's just a nice thing to do. Doesn't cost you much at all. The customers love it. I haven't had one person say they didn't like it. I mean, if you went to a place to get your oil changed, and one place gave you like a pack of gum or something, and the other place didn't, I don't know, who would you remember more?
100%.
Who are you more likely to go back to?
Just trying to stay top of mind, Yeah,
it's not about no one's going to go get their car detailed because they want a free bottle of water, but it's just kind of, they remember things like that in the back of their head. They're, it stays with them. I actually learned from Enterprise, we used to have these hang tags that had a checklist on all the parts of the car that we cleaned, like dashboard, windows, trunk, and we had to check it off and hang it on the mirror. So instead of the hang tag, I got the idea to print up my own floor mats. So I got paper floor mats with my logo and with a list of every service that you would do in a detail, and we check it off on the floor mat. So it's all right there. Our website's down there, and you see our logo right when you open the door, right on the floor, and it just looks kind of cool than just the generic floor mats with those footprints on them or whatever, or it says thank you.
So what are those costing you roughly? Do you know?
Right now, I get them done at Staples. They're called, trying to think, like architectural prints or something. They're black and white. They're about like 18 by 24 inches, and they cost roughly $1.80 each. But I don't put them in every single car. I only use those for first-time clients. I do have the cheaper ones that you can buy in bulk, at 500 mats at a time.
Right.
And I use those for wholesale jobs or return customers, just so I don't dirty their carpet.
Right.
But the first time customer, I want to leave a good first impression, so I'll use the more expensive mat. For a $1.80 investment to have them come back to me, it's some people are saying it's way too expensive. I'm trying to find a place that will print them cheaper. I haven't had time to look yet. I'm sure there's somewhere that will be able to print something like that.
You know what, a little side note, if there's someone who listens to the podcast that is a printer or knows of a printing company, reach out to Paul and help him. How about that?
Yeah, please.
That'd be cool. But I think that's a really nice added touch if you think about it from the perspective as the customer, when they are just spending a few $100s or a couple $100 or even $100 to detail their car. That is kind of a luxury item, and they hop in and they see the attention to detail that you've invested essentially in some marketing collateral, to preserve the detail that you just did on the car.
Yeah,
that says a lot, and really for a couple bucks, that they probably tipped you more than it cost for those paper mats. It says a lot, and then they have the cold water right there, which is super nice. What else?
Yeah, and then so after they see the cold water, they're driving away, and they'll look up and they'll need an oil change, and they'll look right next to it, and they'll see my sticker right next to the oil change sticker.
Nice.
I had a detail reminder sticker made up. It says your next detail. It's got my phone number, my logo, my website, and I just write a month or a date on there for when I recommend that they come back. And I think that's a lot better than just leaving a business card in the cup holder, because that's not going anywhere. It's stuck to the window. They're always going to look up and see it, even if they don't notice it's there. Subconsciously, they might see it, and if they see it a couple times a week, that's even better and more effective than an email list.
Yeah, for sure. Where are you getting those made?
What's it called? Stickeru.com or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not too expensive at all. I think I got about 1,000 of them for like $100 or $110, something like that.
Again, relatively inexpensive for the potential ROI that it's going to have.
Yeah, if I think I added it up, if I put all of my marketing materials in the car, every single thing I had, like one of each, it would equal like less than $5.
Got it. Okay.
So I got those stickers. I had hang tags made, and just get creative with it. I did 3 different kind of hang tags geared towards something that I want to sell the customer. So I have one it says "Don't do it," and it's like the Nike font, and it just gives a quick description of, hey, you just got a paint correction. Don't go through the car wash. Don't be an idiot.
Right.
It's just like a little reminder, and it's trying to sell them our maintenance washes that we offer. I have another one that says, thank you for choosing value, and it's got a logo, a Yelp logo underneath it, and it has a link or the URL it says leave us a review. I got another one that says let's keep it clean, and that's another one just trying to sell the maintenance program.
And so what has kind of the effect been since implementing all these things? Do you get a ton of compliments from it? Are you getting a lot of referrals from things like these? Are people coming in going, man, Bill really liked how you had a custom-made floor mat or paper mat, and the ice cold water was perfect, and so he was telling me about that over dinner, and so now I'm here. Is that what's happening, or kind of what's okay, tell us about that.
It would be in people's conversation. They would remember it. I follow up with almost every customer. At least a week after the detail, I'll call them, or a few days, and they almost always say something about what I left in the car after they tell me that they're happy or with the detail. They'll always say, "Oh yeah, and I like that water bottle you left. That was really cool." Or almost all the time. I'm hearing a lot of it now. And I'm trying to think, what else happens? Or like the hang tag for the Yelp review. I didn't ask them for a review, and then when I would follow up, I would just kind of start a conversation, and it's happened like maybe 3 or 4 times already. And I haven't had the hang tags that long. I've had them for a couple months. But I got a couple reviews out of it, and I found out from talking to them, it's because they saw the hang tag in the car and with the Yelp logo, and it just reminded them to do it. So I know the stuff's working because I'm just being straightforward with them and asking them,
Right. And reviews are important.
Yeah, and I kind of tied it into the image that me and Chris thought of for our company last year, where we had a professional website made, and I'm friends with a photographer, so we had a couple photo shoots done that look real professional, and I used that for all of our designs. We kept the color scheme. I had the logo kind of finalized, and we kept that, tied that in with our brochures, our hang tags. They have pictures of us in the background. It's not just generic looking.
Right. Nope, I lost you for a sec, but you're back. Lost you again, but you're back, I think. You there?
Can you hear me?
Yep, now I can. Lost you for a sec. Yeah, and that's what I really wanted to the point I wanted to get across on this episode was it's so much more about just the skills to detail the car, and there's so many of these additional elements that go into, being professional and being, effective and efficient with the real estate that you have in the car to promote your business. And it's like, if you think about how many times you're hitting your logo with that customer, for brand awareness, they see it on their feet, they see it in their cup holder, they see it on their windshield. You're all over the place, and you're making it easy for them to do that. And I think that's such a great idea, and I think it's an idea that a lot of people can, a lot of guys can, or girls can, take away from this conversation. Because I get so many questions on how can I differentiate myself from the competition, and I want to use this one as this is just a way to do that. And I know the next gripe's going to be, oh, well, I don't have money to do that. And it's like, well, you know what? For under $5, you can do all this stuff. It's not a big investment.
Yeah, I mean, you have to spend money to make money. It's that simple. So, if you have to take out a small loan, if you have to save up, if you have to sell some stuff, if you're trying to take the next step, you got to do it.
Exactly. Is there what else has been a big help for you?
As far as the marketing materials?
Yeah, definitely.
That's pretty much it. The only other thing, other than like an email list, which is very important, I've made referral cards. And when I'm cashing the customer out, when they're paying for the detail and I'm giving them their keys and explaining, what service they got, making sure they know, they're comfortable with everything. I got referral cards made, and it basically says 20% off any service for a friend, and then it says a free wash and wax for you, and it has a space, and I'll write their name and what car they have so I can remember them, because I have too many customers to remember all of them. So, and I'll give them a couple, and I'll explain to them. I'll say, give this to a coworker or a friend or something, and when they bring it in, they'll get 20% off their detail, and you get a free wash and wax, and it has your name on it. So I'll call you.
Smart.
Yeah, and a wash and waxes I give out like they're
easy.
They take 20 minutes to do. So
right.
But if it gets me another client, and my prices are already marked up, so 20% off isn't a loss at all. So it's just a way to get clients. It's a great way, and it's been working. I've only had that going for about a month, and I've gotten 3 back already.
That's a great tip. That's a great tip, because chances are customers are going to tip on top of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you're going to make back your 20%, or at least some of it.
That Square cash register has been the best thing I've ever bought.
That's what I've been saying, man.
Set it up so they have the option to leave the tip, and they almost feel guilty if they don't.
Right. Right on. So, is there anything else that we didn't talk about that you want to mention before we get going?
No, I think we pretty much covered it. I can't think of anything.
Cool. If people want to, if that printer that's doing printing on the side that listens to the podcast wants to get a hold of you, or maybe there's some guys out there that just kind of want to pick your brain about some of this stuff that they heard on the show today, how can they find you? How can they get a hold of you?
I mean, if anyone wants a business card made up or something like that, or the referral card, I'd be glad to do it. I can't do a whole ton of them because I'm obviously busy with my business, but I can help some guys out. So, or if you have any questions about it, you can definitely reach out to me. My cell phone is 413-883-0881.
Uh-oh, he's giving out cell phone numbers.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not shy.
Just teasing. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
That's the easiest way to get a hold of me is just text me. Or you can just find me on Facebook. Just type in Pro and Local. On Instagram or Facebook, it will pop right up.
Is that it?
Yeah. Email is proandlocal@gmail.com. Those are the easiest ways to get a hold of me. Cell phone and email.
Awesome. Cool, man. I'm going to end the recording right here. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Head on over to autodetailingpodcast.com for full show notes and links of everything that we've talked about today. And don't forget to check out our resources page for a direct link to all the products talked about not only on today's episode, but that I use in my day-to-day detail business. They have direct links so you can purchase and get free shipping right from that page. That's autodetailingpodcast.com. We'll see you on the next episode.